Greetings, family. This is Dr. Kia. This is Tuesday, June the 28th, 2022, and I believe it's close to 7 o'clock p.m. I wanted to come today because I've heard some people express some concern. People have a tendency sometimes to be afraid or allow fear to creep in when they hear news. So we see that the powers that be or the powers that were seem to be trying to usher in the Great Reset. Let me stop right here to tell you there's a difference between the Great Reset and the global currency reset. The Great Reset is a nefarious operation that was set in place by the so-called elite or the nefarious powers that wanted to decimate the global economy and then usher us into a one world economic situation, or one world currency, which was minted by the Federal Reserve in order to control us. It was the New World Order type of thing. That was the Great Reset. The global currency reset is something that 209 countries agreed upon years ago to get rid of the standard of money that we have now, or the USD, and to return to the gold standard. So a lot of people were unaware that this happened behind the scenes, but this is indeed what has been occurring. And that's why we see countries repatriating their gold back to themselves and countries returning to the gold standard. So why are people concerned and worried about the reset, the Great Reset? Well, because you can see and hear that things are happening all over the world. We've heard about tens of thousands of factories burning down all over the world. Factories that held food, factories that had meat, chickens, turkeys. We've heard of turkey farms being destroyed, chicken farms being destroyed, cattle dropping dead all over the world. So we know this is a nefarious plot by those who were in power, the elites or elites, the elite bloodline that want to cause us to become afraid. They want to have a demolition of sorts of the economy, and they want to completely destroy it. They are interrupting the supply chain, the food supply chain. They are trying to really make us concerned and worried and not prepared for what is ahead. Well, we also know that wages have not increased since we came off the gold standard in 1971. The wages haven't increased. Our ability to purchase things, our purchasing power has decreased. People are paying on average almost $500 more on food per month than they did pre-pandemic. So it looks horrible. We also know that there aren't that many people working right now. Millions of people, tens of thousands of people at the very least, have applied for unemployment. We see, if you go out into your neighborhood, if you go downtown, if you go out into the community, you will see for hire signs everywhere because everybody is trying to look for employees. What is going on, Dr. Pruitt? What in the world is going on, and should I worry? Well, I'm glad you asked, because you know on my channel, I'm going to bring you good news. I want to raise your vibrations. I want to encourage you. I want you to be positive and always look for the good, because the scripture says, for all of my Christian friends, what the devil means for your harm, God will turn it around for your good. No weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you will condemn. So my brothers, my sisters, my friends, and even foes, lurkers and listeners, ear hustlers, and everybody from all around the world, stay encouraged, because what we actually see is the nefarious beings trying to usher in the Great Reset. But this is a controlled demolition by the Patriots, by Nasara White Knights. They're going to allow this to happen so that the Patriots can come in and take control and fully manage this so-called demolition. So you see, it looks bad. It looks like we should worry, but this is why we've been telling people, get your seeds, stock your seeds. Start planting your food. You need to know who your farmers are, who your gardeners are in your community, because this is a wonderful opportunity, an exciting time for us to take control over our own food. Also, if you know your family members that have a green thumb, give them the tools that they need to start farming, to start planting, so that we can feed ourselves. Now, we know about the Roe versus Wade situation, right? It was overturned. Now, what's interesting about that is, for some reason, we leaned on the government to tell us what we should do. Should you be able to, get rid of the baby or not? But when you think about being sovereign beings, when you're sovereign, you don't need the government to govern your behavior. When you're sovereign and you're proactive and you have full control over your life, you make the best decisions for your life. You don't have oopsies, okay? You don't make mistakes because you plan ahead. You think with the end in mind. You start with the end in mind. So anytime you think about families and generational wealth and how you're going to feed your wealth and how you're going to take care of your posterity, which is your future generations, when you have planned that out ahead, then it should govern your behavior today. So if I've done my not just my 5 or 10 year plan, but if I've done my 100-year plan, my 500-year plan, my 5,000-year plan for my posterity, for my future generation, and I have that set before me, and I'm beginning with the end in mind, I am going to make sure that when my hormones rage, I'm not making a decision based on my hormones. But I've already begun with the end in mind, and so I'm looking at my future. And when my hormones rage, because I've been proactive, I'm going to ask myself, is laying down with this partner helping my future? Is laying down with this partner or this random person or this man, or for you, those of you who may, or a woman, is that going to get me what I need to fulfill my future? Is it conducive to the plan that I've set before me? So you see, having the government to mind their own business mean that we will recognize and realize our sovereignty. So I've taught you, or you don't need to be taught, but I've shared with you, sovereign, the etymology of the word. To reign means to have rule and control over your life. Sov means over or above. Reign means rule. You and I have rule and reign over our life. So getting back to the economy, this means that we need to make sure we plan ahead. So those are the things that I wanted to tell you, that the Patriots will take control. And this is the perfect timing, perfect opportunity for President Trump, number 45, to come back, because he never conceded. And we know that he just went on Truth Social. What was it, about February of this year? He's aligning things to come back and to make the announcement that the Republic has been restored. Because if you look at my NASARA videos, you know NASARA was signed into law in 2001. And according to NASARA, the Republic will be restored and we will return to constitutional law. So the Constitution for the United States of America has not gone anywhere. It was just usurped by nefarious beings who created a corporation, the United States of America Corporation, but that is bankrupt and defunct. It has no legitimate power anymore. So once the Republic is restored, all things will be back in place. And Donald Trump will once again show himself, and he will be the legitimate president, which he already is. We know he's never really gone anywhere. Now, this is something else that I just came upon. I wanted to share it with you. And that is that the rumor is that the Fed lost its charter to print money in 2012, but they had a 10-year extension period, which ends July 4th, 2022. Can you see how things are lining up? July 4th, 2022. Now, it's interesting that they lost their charter to print money in 2012 because 2012 was the end of the world. Remember, the Mayan calendar said it was the end of the world, or the end of the world as we know it. So if the feds lost their charter to print money in 2012 and the extension ends July 4th on Independence Day, isn't this exciting? Independence Day. This whole season right there, this whole summer solstice is really exciting. We just had Juneteenth, where people who classified as African Americans, who are really the indigenous people or aboriginal people on this land, they celebrated how some of their relatives have come out of slavery. My personal opinion is that whole Juneteenth season being around July 4th actually resembles, or is supposed to symbolize, the whole country celebrating Independence Day. And when the United States of America celebrates Independence Day, the whole world celebrates the Independence Day. Why? Because this is Morocco, because this is Israel, because this is Egypt, because every country outside of America actually started in America, and then they named these other countries after what was already here. So this is the beginning. There are rumors and evidence that points to the Garden of Eden actually being right here in America. This is the cradle of civilization. This is the land of milk and honey, which is why everybody and their mommy, daddy, aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, granny, them wants to be here. It's the land of opportunity. So what am I trying to say? Be encouraged. July 4th, I believe, is going to be a spectacular time to celebrate our independence. And wouldn't it be wonderful if there was an announcement? I don't care if it's an emergency broadcasting system announcement, also known as the EBS, or some formal announcement that will come online to let us know that the United States is free, that the world is free. So many things are happening right now, and I'm so excited. Family, be encouraged. The Patriots, the Nasara White Knights, they're coming back. But they've not gone anywhere, but they're going to come to the forefront to let us know that we have been liberated. And this will usher in the global currency reset. So remember, every single country already agreed, or at least 209, to return to the gold standard. We know that countries have repatriated their gold. Even America repatriated our gold from the Vatican. This is wonderful news. We know that 16 states in America have made silver and gold, or passed a law that silver and gold is now legal tender. So you see this happening right before your eyes. Sometimes you just don't know where to dig. Now, finally, I want to tell you about the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. On July 27th of yesterday, I meant to make this announcement, but I didn't. So let's just pause right now to, first of all, thank Patrick Hawkins, my good friend from my hometown of Cleveland, Ohio. I know I told you my hometown was actually Louisville, Kentucky. That's because that's where I raised my children. But I was born and partially raised in Cleveland, Ohio. Thank you, Patrick Hawkins, for sending me this article. It says, the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe introduces gold coins. Did you all hear that? The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe introduces gold coins. Now, why would the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe introduce gold coins, you ask? I'm glad you asked Dr. Pruitt, because Dr. Pruitt is always ready to give you the answers. Listen to this article. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, also known as the RBZ, has announced plans to introduce gold coins as part of measures to ensure investors and the general public have alternative means to preserve the value of money. The resolution was made on the 24th of June when the RBZ's Monetary Policy Committee, or the MPC, met and deliberated on macroeconomics and financial developments in the economy, said their central bank. The gold coins will be minted by Fidelity Gold Refineries, which is private, limited, and will be sold to the public through normal banking channels. Gold is considered a safe haven against inflation And a gold coin is made mostly or entirely of gold, while most gold bullion coins are pure gold. Studies show that gold has outperformed the inflation rates and reduced the risk by a considerable margin. Family, if you don't see what I see, I don't know how else to excite you. We are moving to the gold standard. So listen, go to your local bullion company, look up numismatics in your directory or on Google in your city or in your local town, because this is where you're going to find the least expensive gold and silver. Right now, silver prices have been suppressed so much, it's now only $21 an ounce. Gold is somewhere between $18.38. If gold is not in if it's in your budget, get it. If not, get you some silver. Okay? Because when we return to the gold standard, silver and gold will be both used as money. The Constitution for the United States defines money as a fixed weight of silver. So do it, family. Go get you some silver. Go get you some gold. If an ounce of gold at $1,800 is not in your budget, then get gold aurum notes. So gold aurum notes, AURUM, is 24 karat gold that's pressed out on a bill, and it's real gold. You can use it. You can get it for like $6, $6 to $25. Get it. Get ready for what's about to happen. And if you're so inclined, I will post my link. You can buy silver and gold from Dr. Kia Pruitt's, and I would be more than happy to allow you to buy from my store, whatever it is your heart's desire. You can also look up Miles Franklin. That is Andy Scheckman at Miles Franklin. If you have maybe money in your retirement, your 403b, your 401k, and you want to transition it into gold, contact Andy Scheckman of Miles Franklin. He will help you do that. I will post his link in the description channel. What I'm trying to say in my conclusion, family, is we've been through a lot as a nation, as a country, as citizens of the world, as sovereign beings. However, the Creator has come back and returned to help us get out of the rut that we've allowed ourselves to become a part of, or allow ourselves to get in. Now we have more sovereignty over our bodies, over who we lay with, what we happens, over our babies, over our children, sovereignties over our food. Some of the aborted babies were sent off. I learned from somebody who worked in an abortion clinic, sent off to the bodies were put in bags into solution and sent off to Washington, and the remainder was sent to Wendy's and McDonald's. So some of us were eating our own babies. It was put in products and medicines and shampoos. Thank you, Taj Dynami Bay, for telling me this. Taj Diami Bay for telling me this. Sent into factories for shampoo, for all different type of products. Family, all this has to stop. The pharmaceutical companies, they will end. Okay, now we're going to learn to do things the correct way. We're going to have to learn to depend on each other. Families are going to have to move back in together. People are going back to their children's fathers. Didn't I tell you that was going to have to happen? I am starting to hear people say, look, I went back to my children's father because it's hard out here trying to date people that are not related to my children. I can't make it on my own. 2 incomes are better than 1. Listen, if you cannot find a mate and you're going to sit up here and you're sitting up here struggling, consider staying married and making it work, or going back to your children's father, your children's mother. And if that's not feasible, look, I'm just giving you some advice, some free advice. If that's not feasible, then move in together as families. If that's not feasible, which it should be, learn some communication skills. Get Stephen Covey's book on highly effective people, or look at my video, and I'll put that in the description link on how people should effectively communicate. If that is not feasible, then at the very least, learn how to grow your own food, learn how to write out your own plans for your future, and look ahead and then go backwards and live from where you are now based on your future goals. Not if that's not feasible, because it is. While you're doing that, find out who's planting food in your community, become friends with your gardener, find out who's making clothes, find out who's fixing shoes, find out who's counseling, find out who's educating, because the school system may fall apart. We were complaining, I don't like the way they do things in the school system. I don't like that my child can't wear her natural hair. I don't like that my child's discriminated against. I don't like. We're so entitled because we're so used to being catered to, and we've gotten lazy. We don't take care of ourselves. We don't do things for ourselves, but we're moving to a time of sovereignty. So find out how you can live and survive and thrive in the new earth that's coming. I, John, saw a new heaven and a new earth descend from heaven. And behold, the old heaven and the old earth were passed away, and behold, all things had become new. This is the era into which we're going. We're ascending to the fifth dimension and above. Be encouraged, family. Get ready for the global currency reset. Get ready for everything being restored for Nasara coming online, for our sovereignty, our liberty, our freedom, and our abundance. And those of us who are supposed to help humanity with humanitarian projects, write down your humanitarian projects, collaborate with your other friends who want to do humanitarian projects, and start planning. Because when our wealth is restored, we will all be able to work together to help humanity, to build schools, to build the infrastructure, to do all these minor things, to build farms. We'll start all over. Walmart, all those big retail stores, they might completely end. Banks, some banks will end. We've known that banks have been closing. You can have your own bank by having silver and gold in your possession. If you have silver and gold, have it in your possession and not locked up in some storage that you do not trust. If you have Bitcoin, which I don't particularly like Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency, put it in your own possession. And that's it. I've gone over my time. It's 22 minutes that I've been speaking. I hope I've encouraged your hearts. Stay uplifted, stay positive. This is our time. We're going to do this. Where we go one, we go all. I love you. Peace. And remember, buy silver and gold from Dr. Kia Pruitt. The link is in the description.